Kohberger allegedly stalked one of the victims. That's false. You knew that was false. For anybody who had never heard that before, that question is now planted into them, unqualified representation that Mr. Kohberger stalked one of the witnesses, and that's false. We do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122, but we can put his phone in that area. There are many residences in that area. It's a dense population of mostly college-related occupants.
Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Good morning. How's everyone doing today? It's crazy. Today is Cinco de Mayo and it's Taco Tuesday. Isn't that beautiful? I don't know what we're going to do just yet, but I'm probably going to just special order some burrito tacos. Because how can you not? How can you not? On Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. Come on. Definitely going to be participating. How is everyone doing? Hell yeah, taco time. Taco time. I did see while it was going that people were asking where to get into the Google Drive link. It is in the description box of everything everywhere. Let me just make sure that I have it in this one. But I have a template that I use, and I copy and paste it into all of the Idaho videos that has all of the official sources. It has the WSU request portal. It has the Idaho case of interest portal. It has the Pullman portal. It has the MPD portal. It has the ISP portal. And it has the Google Drive link. So let me just go ahead and make sure that it's actually in here. WSU, all court docs, PA site, Moscow Police Department. Oh my God, the Google Drive is not in this one. Hold on one second. I'm glad I saw the question because it is supposed to be in that list. Hold on, let me pull it up. Okay, here, and I'll show it for those who don't know what it looked like. This is the shared folder for the case. As you can see, it still has some work that needs to be done. Here y'all go for this one. And I will go make sure that it is in here under Google Drive channel folders. Okay. So it should be showing up in the description box now, and I'll make sure that it's in the other ones. I don't know why it was not in the template. That just goes into making things harder for me because now I have to go in there and make sure that it's in there because it should have been in there. And I don't know why the frick it wasn't in there because it's supposed to be. Okay. And I shouldn't have to accept anything. I have it where it's open because it's just the files for the things that are public and the things that we have FOIA'd. I've also been going in and getting some of the actual FOIA stuff put in here from like both sides. I'm trying to get this caught up. But we've asked for so many things. And just like this week, I've asked for stuff and I've got to get it all in there. But everything is in here. All of the raw files for the 1112 footage have been accessible to everybody the entire time that we've had them. You could have came in here and downloaded them at any point with no watermark, checked them out yourself. We have everything that we got from Celebrite when we asked Celebrite directly for the information that they got from Kohberger's phone. Idaho State Police, WSU lawsuits, MPD, knife sheath, FOIA, all kinds of information is in here. All kinds of information is in here. So it's in the description box, and I'll go in later today and make sure that it's in multiple description boxes, at least for the last like 30 videos or so. just so that it can be caught up. But there is that. I did, for those of you who were here yesterday, when I said that I received a response back from Moscow regarding Ethan's freaking apartment. Let me show y'all exactly, and I'll clip this itself because I've been trying to get all of my FOIA requests like actually out there so you guys can see one by one what we're asking for. So let me get this downloaded and then I will open this and show you what I asked for while they're sitting there trying to tell me that the information that I'm requesting is already public record. And so I emailed her back today and I was like, can you tell me where? Yeah, no. Because we've kind of like looked through like every single one of these and no, it's not. So we'll see what their answer is, because if she's going to sit there and tell me that the information is already available, then she has to be able to tell me where the information is, yeah? Because she has to be able to like know for sure that it's there for her to be able to tell me that it's there. So I'm expecting an answer with some very specific details of like the number, the report number that says these things. Okay, just let me make sure that this one is good to go. Has my address and number and everything blocked on it. Okay, so let me show y'all what I asked. Right here. So I asked, can you all see this? Yeah. Let me fix this. Hold on. Ew, it's so tiny. Ew. Okay. This is what I asked. I said, oh, save this. It's not a video, it's pictures. The ISP photos. It definitely shows some stuff that's not redacted. You can see it. So I asked this. We have become aware through interviews with not only Ethan Chapin's parents that have aired on national TV, but also from the recent Sigma Chi members' interviews that he had his own apartment behind the 76er gas station in Moscow, Idaho. At the time that I wrote this, it was before we had listened to Kyle Fry's interview where he mentions going over there and he talks about like Indian Hills. And for those of you that were here during that review, remember how we pulled up the map and like we jumped over there and there were these apartments like right across the street from the gas station, but before Indian Hills. So you have the gas station, like you have Taylor Avenue. Okay. Like you come out of King and there's Taylor Avenue and you're going towards the highway. And at the very end of that is this 76er gas station. And there's a bunch of apartments back there. We can see them on the map. So since so many people have said something about like behind the gas station, up by the gas station, we just thought that it was like behind the gas station, which is why I worded it this way. Once we got Kyle's interview, he starts talking about, okay, he's like looking at the map and he's like, oh, no, that's Indian Hills. So we took it like he went a little bit too far that way. So it was over the highway, but it wasn't in the Indian Hills area. And there is an apartment building like right there. So it's worded this way because that's what we had at the time. I don't know if I worded it differently, if she'd give me something different, but I don't think so because she's trying to tell me that we already have the information. And no, ma'am, we don't. I don't see how like collectively everybody and their mama missed it. I just don't. Okay. So then I said, the exact address has not been given. And there are several buildings behind this gas station that intersects with Taylor Avenue and Highway 95. Sigma Chi member Wesley Rebick was the most recent interview to mention this apartment. Because again, we hadn't listened to Kyle Fries at this point. We were aware from the beginning that he was not living at the homicide location, and it came out later that he was not living at the fraternity at the time. The exact location, as mentioned above, is still unknown, and that is the truth. to the public. That is the truth. I am requesting any investigative reports, supplemental reports, photographs, or anything else related to any visits, investigations, or evidence collections from the apartment in which was considered Ethan Chapin's. This is what matters. Actual place of residence at the time of the 1122 King Road homicide. And her answer: the information you are seeking can be found in police reports. The police reports are publicly available, or are available publicly. And then she gives me just their regular schmegular website without telling me exactly which report she's talking about. So she's going to have to make it clear, all right, exactly where these police reports apparently are. And I said this morning at 10:45 a.m., I sent a message and I said, groups of us have gone through the MPD reports from the public site and have not seen a single report that shows a search was done at an additional residential location, much less one for Ethan Chapin. Can you please provide the report number, ERS, S parentheses with the S, where this information is reported? Thanks. And so we'll see what she says. We'll see what she says. But I know damn well, like, we have all looked deep as shit into these files, and not a single one of us had any inkling about any of those reports being about Ethan's apartment at all. There's nothing in there. The only thing that could possibly maybe be in a report is Kyle Fry mentioning the fact that he was over there helping pack it up in December. But that's like it. That's it. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and listen to, let me fix the word on here, Lakelynn's interview. The timing for this actually could not be any more perfect. I could not have planned this if I tried, all right? I really could not have. I was not aware that in chapter 4 that we're going to be going over tonight in the book, there's a shit ton of information about Lakelynn. And the funny part, I swear I can't stand this guy. I'm teetering on the edge of hate when it comes to Chris. I'm not even kidding with you. And did y'all know that his wife helped him edit this book? Like, I'm sorry. I went to the back last night just because I was being like curious as to what it says, bro. All right. Because there's so much misinformation in here. It's disgusting. Like, y'all are going to like tonight going through chapter 3. Is it chapter 3? No, it's chapter 4. Tonight going through chapter 4. Like, oh my God, he doubles down on it being Xana's blood on the side of the pong table, and even admits that he knows that Sutton went in and changed parts of her report, but he is keeping the fact that she thinks that Xana was attacked at the table. That goes away if the blood's not Xana's. And he's literally admitting in here, he knows that Sutton changed her report, but he's keeping the old bullshit in here, knowing that it no longer says anything about that. Like, my notes are like that. Like, look at this book. Look at me throwing a fit in ink. This guy is everywhere. Okay. So then I jump to the back. And he's like thanking all of these people at HarperCollins, which they're going to get an email from me. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm going to be the pettiest of the petty at this point because I'm so effing done with this bullshit. I am going to send a very detailed email to HarperCollins detailing every factual thing that this man got wrong in this book. And I'm going to say that it's basically amazing how many things were wrong, considering that HarperCollins provided an editorial team and his wife is his first line editor. So not only did he go through the shit, not only did she go through the shit and also help him research for months and did weeks of proofreading. But then the editorial team at HarperCollins also got a hold of it, and it still ended up 80% not right. 80% false information. Isn't that insane as shit? Isn't that freaking insane? So again, I could not have like planned the timing for like going over these any freaking better. I really could not, because we are going to listen to her timestamps. And we also know that we have a picture. Now that's what's crazy about this damn chapter, is because, and look, I don't know if he is doing the dumb shit with his horrible strategic writing skills where he says some incorrect shit first, and then 5,000 chapters later he decides to suddenly bring it up again correctly. Who the frick thinks to write like that? That's stupid. But in here he has that the timestamp for the picture that Lakelynn took of Dylan on the couch is 2:27. It's 1:33. He said so himself in like several interviews, and she also mentions it like in her interview that we're about to go over. But in the book, he says it's 2:27. See, that's why he sits there when he's asked questions and he's like, "Oh, I'm very detailed in the book." Yeah, because you don't know the facts, and that's not even a fact. Like you don't even like. Oh my god! Like this guy gives me a freaking headache. He's just so wrong about so many things. It's absolutely gross. I don't even quite understand. So going through her interview today is going to be like perfect for the timing, because tonight we're going through all the incorrect bullshit he put in the book regarding her timeline. At 2:27, she's been home for forever. 2:27 is the scream on the 11/12 camera that he had a whole hissy fit and didn't want to talk about. 1:33 is the time of that. How are you going to give us the picture and then give us the wrong time? And then you know what else is crazy? That picture has like the ping pong table and like the cups and everything in the back of it. And I'll pick it up. I'll put it on the screen tonight when we're talking about it in the book part. But in the book, he's talking about how it shows that like the pong table is in a completely different position. And anybody who would have looked at it correctly and done the math would have known that it was in a different position. And I'm like, where? It's literally right there by the bar cart, right by the door. It's in the exact same position that we know that it's in. That doesn't mean it wasn't moved, obviously, because there's no way any of that shit happened. But obviously somebody put it back where it was, without a doubt. But to say that it was like in a completely different place, it's just as weird as the way that he's going off about Talbot seeing blood spatter, but then he's like, he's so wrong in his reports. And I'm like, but there's blood spatter. What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't even understand like the mental, cognitive abilities, audio abilities, or visual abilities of this man, because he is seeing things that are not true. He is hearing things that no one else is hearing. And it's just a lot. I gave myself quite a lot of anxiety last night trying to read that chapter. It just was ridiculous. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what to put right here. At 1122 King with Dylan and Bethany before Christ on. Okay, I just need to make a banner. Has Chris done an interview? Apparently with and Jeanette. I don't know if he went like and did like her little personal one. I know that he talked to her on Crime Fix, but I don't know if he's done another one. I have no idea. I just know that the majority of everything in this book is bullshit. And like I said, if we have facts out here to the public, okay, and we can take what he is saying and we can compare it to the public facts that we have, and we can be like, yeah, that's not accurate. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not my freaking information. It's the facts. If we can take the facts and then we can take what he says and we can be like, yeah, you're wrong, by the thousands of us yelling and screaming it, okay, then how can we take 100% the things he's telling us that he sees and hears and has read that we can't access because he's been so wrong in the things that we can? That's my problem. That's my problem. And it's just like with the knife sheath thing. I went ahead and I read ahead to chapter 5, I think it is, where Turvey is starting to tell him all kinds of stuff. It's about like the Turvey interview. And in that interview, he's telling him that there's emails between the lab and Talbot about the chain of custody with the knife sheath getting there. But we went through the emails that were released to the public anyway regarding the knife sheath, all the way up to Riley Nowlin being like, okay, the troopers just met up and it's going to take a few more hours for the handoff trooper basically to get here, and we'll keep you updated. And then as soon as it gets there at like 3:40 something, 3:50 something in the afternoon, she sends another mass email out saying the sheath is here. And that's it. And then on like page 3 of the big, huge forensic drop, they have like 2 or 3 places where they did have issues with the way that the envelope came in, the tape wasn't correct or something like that. But there's no notes at all listed for the 11/16 time that the knife sheath got there. There's no emails between the lab and Talbot. So I'm going to request the emails very specifically between Talbot and the forensic lab regarding the knife sheath from ISP. Because if they exist, then they have to tell me they exist. They either have to deny me because I'm not allowed them, which is still proof that they exist, or they have to give them to me. Because that's specifically what Turvey is telling him, that he has seen email correspondence between the lab and Talbot with ISP, nobody with MPD. And that gives me even more pause because, again, we have 11/16, the knife sheath getting to the forensic lab. It's being designated on the 16th as item 1. And then we have 1.1, 0.2, and 0.4 being created. 0.5 is not created until sometime in December. But then on 11/18, we have 1.1 being resubmitted again by Tim Smaldridge. And it's a completely different evidence receipt. It has a completely different date on it, brought in by agency courier. It's a completely different set of information. Same delegation of 1.1. And again, that is the swab. That is the swab. Why is it being resubmitted? Why is there no paperwork? Where's these emails that you're talking about? Damn it. I just want some facts. Holy shit. Yeah, but there's no proof of that because they literally delegated it as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 on the 16th. So where's the proof of that? That's what I'm saying, Duck. We haven't seen that. Oh, thank you, Emily. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we have the report. We have it. It was accepted on the 16th. It went from 22M1810 to lab item number 1 and was given 1.1 through 1.4 for all the swabs that were taken on the 16th, worked on into the 17th. Like, it already had the delegations. How can he sit there and say that they wouldn't accept it to work on it, but they started working on it basically like right away? Like, it doesn't make sense. That makes no sense. So I'm going to FOIA ISP with that information and see what they say. They do get back to you a lot faster than MPD does. So we'll see what they do. But if those emails exist, then they have to produce them. And if they exist and for some reason they're not available to the public under the FOIA Act, and that's still them having to admit that they exist, but we just can't have it. So either way, we're going to find something. We're going to find out something. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this interview with Lakelynn. Now, she did too. And again, I don't know why they waited until the 19th to talk to the girl that was there at the freaking house right before the murders took place. That makes no sense. A week. A whole freaking week, bro. That's crazy as hell. So we're going to listen to this. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys have already heard this. I know Christy's had him out for a few days now, maybe close to a week even. And again, it's just, there's no video for this one. This was done on 11/19. Again, a week. They waited a week to talk to the girl that was there. Like, that's wild. That's absolutely crazy. Oh, hey there, Cajun Bayou Queen. When more details from you than I ever have. They're just in my brain. They're just there. And they probably stick so much because I repeat them so much. But they're just there. And I don't understand how Ann Taylor didn't ask more questions about that. Unless for somehow she didn't have the damn forensic lab reports, which I don't even know what's true and what's not anymore about how much discovery she actually has. Because regardless, like anything regarding the knife sheath would have been like the number one thing. And for some reason, like the only thing that Turby is like stuck on is this chain of custody. Nobody is mentioning the fact that 1.1 is resubmitted, and it's literally in the documents. It's the only one that has the resubmission actually ticked off, like actually like bubbled in, the only one. And it's, again, was delivered by Tim Smaldridge. And even on the 18th, they have Dustin Blaker as like the point of contact. And Dustin Blaker's name seems to be like on almost everything. It was his probable cause that they used for Pennsylvania, that they used for Washington for both the apartment and the office. Like Payne's is the one that came out publicly to Idaho. And they're claiming it's the one that they used for arrest. But it really like isn't really. Like it really isn't really. And Blaker's name is on all of the evidence receipts. Blaker is the one who did like everything in way of correspondence. He is, again, also the one who picked up the sample and brought it down to Othram, not Payne. Okay. It's so annoying. I can't. It's just so annoying. All right. Let's go ahead and listen to this. Again, this is Lakelynn. She is the one who got to the house with Dylan before anyone else was apparently home. She talks about what they did when she was inside, the rooms that she was in, the floors that she was on, what she heard, what she saw, whatever with Murphy, the picture, when she left. She tries to give timestamps. They really, really, really get into the technicals of the timestamps, it seems, in the second interview, because that one she's got like her phone out and they're going through things like more specifically, but you're going to hear them going through like a whole lot of it. And I'm going to be writing down these as we're going through them this time. Because she really like apparently left right before the girls got home, somehow did not see the car, didn't notice them pulling in. And it would have been like mere minutes, like actually mere minutes. So let's go ahead and get started.
Talk to everybody that they were around that night or could have been around that night, and just kind of get our timeline and all of our facts together. You know what I mean? So this could take like I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes maybe. Like it's not unlikely. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay. Hey, so also I've got another detective here with me. His name is Andy, and we'll just kind of start with I guess how did you know everybody in the house? How long did you know them?
So I started school at U of I, and I met Maddie Mogen and Xana, and I became really close with Xana. And we were really good friends all throughout last year.
Hey, SRD.
Me and Maddie Mogen were like friends, but not super close.
And real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yes.
And what is that? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was really good friends with Xana all of last year, and then sometime during the fall semester, I met Ethan, and we all started getting closer and like hanging out more together. And then I didn't meet Kaylee until the beginning of this year, since they were living at that house with like Xana and.
Okay, so I'm also going to say that I believe beginning of this year in college people talk is probably school year. Because if you take into consideration the context of what she just says, we know that Kaylee moved into 1122 like right before the school year started. So I think that's what she means by year. I could be misinterpreting that, but the way she says it makes it feel like school year beginning.
And that I didn't meet Kaylee until the beginning of this year, since they were living at that house with like Xana and.
Do you remember about what month that was?
It would have been like the middle of August.
Okay.
Yeah. See, middle of August.
Yeah, so that's pretty much how I know the four of them.
Okay. What about
I also met them last year. We all at the same time. And I wasn't super close with either of them last year. Like we usually
awesome.
were at the same places. And so like we'd hang out then. And then beginning this year, I started getting really close with them.
With them meaning
Yeah, I started getting closer with them starting this school year.
Yeah, she pretty much knew like everybody.
In August?
Yeah.
Okay. What got you,
But then again, guys, that's only like a few months. August, September, October, November. 3 months. We need to keep that in mind, that honestly, like, these people were strangers to each other. How well do you really know someone in 3 months, especially in an environment where you're surrounded by strangers all the time and you have to acclimate? Super important to remember.
Starting this school year.
Oh,
and that would have been August?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
What brought you guys together a little bit closer?
This is a pretty long redaction, if I remember correctly. I'm going to assume this is something personal that happened with Lakelynn, that maybe the girls were just like really supportive.
And they just started asking me to come around more. And then I think it just kind of kept growing, and I was with them a lot this year.
Something must have happened. Yeah, they all have this cadence.
Okay. Can you spell the last name for me, please?
Yeah. I mean, they were basically strangers. For real.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay. Also, if there's like an awkward pause or something, I'm trying to take notes, and sometimes I talk faster than I write. So if there's a little bit, if there's a little bit of hang time, that's kind of where that is.
Okay.
So kind of from what I'm hearing, would it be fair to say that you're
you know, there was one that Steve mentioned when it comes to the university. I can't remember if it was on mainstream or if it was on somebody's YouTube channel, but Steve Goncalves did mention something like that. And there is some stuff in the report about the police going up, like, look into certain things. And we also know that was a huge issue currently at the time of the crime. That was still the temperature over at WSU because of some cop involved stuff that literally resolved 9 days before the murders took place, if you want to say it was resolved. So maybe. Yeah. Lakelynn's mom also had an issue with a guy at a frat house. Lakelynn's mom did? Is that in one of the interviews? Is that, I wonder if it's the guy that they said was at the party that wasn't supposed to be there. Because didn't they say there was somebody at the Sigma Chi party that wasn't supposed to be there? Or maybe it was like the weekend before that wasn't supposed to be there. There was something. Yeah, her mom kicked out a frat guy that was causing issues. See, it's been like a super long time since I've even like read a report. Damn, what we got those reports. Oh my God, guys, we're in May. It's been a freaking long time. He hit somebody with a bottle. Oh my God. I'm glad y'all remember that. See, that's why I want to go in and I like want to do each report, one report per video. Like Moscow Monday and Monday morning, just a freaking video of one of the reports comes out, something like that, so that we can start going through them. I'm glad y'all remembered that. They talked about it in this interview. See, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I just went in to try to get all the silent stuff like noted. It must have been like Parents Weekend, I'm assuming. Let's go ahead. You said she says it all in this interview? Okay.
You're definitely closer with than Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana.
Yeah.
or I guess I should say, it sounds like you were pretty close with Xana too, but you're not as close with Maddie and Kaylee. Is that fair to assume?
Yes.
Okay.
What do you mean there's no report on Lakelynn? The report for Lakelynn's interview that we're listening to is behind Lakelynn's picture right here. There's a report for both of these dates of interviews.
All right. How often would you go and hang out at 1122 King?
Right, and this is a week.
I was at least there like
not a lot of
once
emotion.
every weekend.
It is odd.
All right. And what kind of, I guess, just describe a typical, like when you go over there on a weekend, how would that usually go? Just describe what you guys would do and how that would transpire.
I would say like their house was kind of known as being like a party house. So usually I would just go over there. I usually get there before like other people would show up. And usually it just consisted of like playing games, like drinking was usually involved.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like usually it was just like a party there. There was only a few occasions where I'd go over and just like hang out and watch a movie with them.
Oh.
There was only a few occasions when you would go over and hang out and watch a movie with them. And it just so happened to be that night that you went over to watch TV. Okay.
There was only a few occasions where I'd go over and just like hang out and watch a movie with them.
Okay.
It was usually a party kind of scene.
And we
no, you're right.
Andy and I
There's no MPD report. That's actually what like drove me crazy. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday? Because I was going in, because y'all know this is how I've been doing it. I've been going in and getting the report, and I use it as like the background for the thumbnail and for like what we're reviewing. And I went through every single freaking one of the MPD reports, like I feel like twice yesterday, because I'm like, there's no way they waited a week to talk to her. Like the 12/4/22 has to be ISP follow-up, but there's like no way. No, MPD didn't talk to her one freaking time. I can't find a damn thing saying that Moscow ever spoke to this girl. It's all ISP. Both reports are ISP. So I don't know if the FBI spoke to her before she talked to them on the 19th, because that's 6 freaking days, bro. She was at the freaking house. So I'm just going to assume, because, I really try to give these idiots the benefit of the doubt. Even all this time later, I'm going to assume that the FBI talked to her before the 19th. But I'm probably just high hopes, because it probably didn't happen.
Completely recognize college days are pretty fun, and there's a lot going on there. When you say party house,
isn't that crazy as shit?
I guess let's talk about those parties. Do they get pretty rowdy and pretty wild, or is it more about like just people are drinking, playing beer pong, and having a good time and chilling? I guess kind of what's the vibe there typically?
You sound so weird.
Yeah, I would say it's more like playing like beer pong. There's usually like music going around in the background, and usually
but she doesn't mention them playing it
with each other. It wasn't anything like crazy, like nothing out of the ordinary happened. Like
there's not like broken doors and windows and fights and that kind of thing.
No, nothing is ever broken. It was just kind of just everyone talking with each other and playing beer pong and like drinking related games.
And does this happen about once a week there, or how frequently is that place kind of the party house?
Yeah, I would say you typically like one night a week, either Friday or Saturday.
And when that happens, how many people usually attend?
It's usually people we all know. I'd say like roughly around 30-ish people.
That house, it was like swollen.
Okay.
What
you mean? There's plenty of times it was way more than that.
I guess let's talk about guests and stuff. When there's a party there, is it usually kind of the same crowd typically? I mean, I know a couple people come and go, but is it typically the same group of people there, the 20 or 30?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And as far as like the house goes, is it a pretty inclusive environment? Like if kind of if a rando wanted to show up and hang out there, would they be welcome, or would it be like, dude, we don't know you, we don't really want you hanging out here? How would that go?
Yeah, if it was a person that just kind of showed up randomly, they would typically be kicked out. Either like the girls that live there would do it, or they'd ask a male friend to do it.
Okay.
But see, we already know, well, at least what we're told is that one of the times that the noise complaints were going on, that nobody that lived in the house was actually present at the time. So how would you know? How would you know? How would you know if some stranger that looked the right age was just walking around? Like, guys, there's a freaking video. Where's my phone? Am I right to assume that if you bookmark stuff on the TikTok app, bookmarks, that it doesn't like go over to your bookmarks on the desktop? Because that's how I've like experienced this life with TikTok suddenly. There was one that I saw yesterday that I think I've seen before, but I'm glad I saw it again because it's really convenient for right now. It's an old TikTok right here. Now I'm going to have to turn this damn light off and show y'all the screen. But I shared this because who the frick is this old ass man right there that walks through? Like, okay, this is Maddie. I don't know who the frickin' other chick is, but they're standing right there in front of Dylan's door. That guy walks by. Who the hell is that? Looking like the toe freaking neck looking dude from that one Love show. Who the hell is this old ass man? It's not Jeff Kernodle, you can tell. He's shorter. Who the frick is that? So you're sitting there trying to tell me that y'all would realize when like somebody was there that's not supposed to be there, but there's some random ass old man that just like, who is it though? Who's dad? I think by now we would recognize if it was the dad of one of the people that lived there. And I don't know when this was. There's no date on it. One of the weird like memorial accounts that are like hella obsessed, oddly enough, posted it. And I like, who is this old man? No, look at him. He's chunky. He's got like, he's balding. He's also gray where he does have hair. And he's walking around with a freaking cup like he's drinking. That's not a college guy. Look at him. That is not a parent. That is not a parent that we have seen. That is not a parent that we have seen. I'm going to reverse search the face if I can get it clear enough. He's holding a cup like he's drinking, and he's older. Do we have proof of that? Because I'd love to see that. Because if he's actually related to somebody, then maybe. Oh, shut the hell up. Talking about a 50-something-year-old dude walking around a college house. I can say whatever the hell I want. Maybe. Because I know that they have like parents of the fraternity and the sorority people that like really take over stuff like cheerleader moms. Like cheerleader moms. Like they get crazy. Yeah, why is an older man just hanging around drinking? I don't care. Cool, he is old. He's got gray hair and he's older. He's not a college person. If me saying somebody's older when he's older bothers you, then that's not my issue. I mean, possibly. I don't know who the frick that is. It was May 2022, so it wasn't Parents Weekend. So you know the date for that? Yeah, that's crazy. So not Parents Weekend, no reason for it. So like end of college party, kind of. Like end of the college year party. I mean, and you get it. you know that y'all just take over everything to make sure it all gets done. So, and I know that the Greek life has that. They have dads and moms that do that. So I don't know. But I would like to know who that is, because it's just a random person in the video. It's a random person walking by. So considering the fact that we've got sort of proof that they would just not even be home, random people would be in the house, all kinds of people knew the door lock code, all kinds of people knew that the back slider wasn't locking properly and knew exactly like how to finagle the door to open it. We also have, again, the camera footage that looks like Emma Bailey's walking across the freaking parking area with some girl and the cops are showing up. And then, of course, we have that one story of the kid who apparently followed Maddie and Xana from the college to the Mad Greek, and then from the Mad Greek back to the house, and then said he could have done it anytime he wanted to, and nobody would have even known a difference. Like, I really feel like there was probably people in that house constantly that they just really didn't know anything of at all. Yeah, and honestly, the fact that, like, out of everything I've said, that's the one thing that, like, you're getting stuck on is crazy. Like, honestly, for real.
And can you recall, I guess, since the start of this year, I guess, were you ever there when somebody showed up that wasn't welcome, or that got asked to leave, or was like, hey, you're not part of this crew, take a hike, bro, or did something like that ever happen while you were there?
Not that I'm aware of when I was ever there. I haven't heard of that happening this year. This was more
I
like
just
something that
asked for proof of that. What are you talking about ignoring it? I literally just said it. I literally acknowledged that. So don't come in here acting like I'm ignoring that. I literally just acknowledged that. I said, do we know that for sure? What do you mean? Don't make shit up. I literally just acknowledged that. Dumb. Go back about 3 minutes and hear me actually acknowledge that. Yeah, right now. Talk about ignorant. Damn, clean your ears. Literally said it. Literally said it.
last year at a different residence, but
Okay. And do you have any idea who those people might have been?
I can turn this light back.
I can't say for sure who.
Okay.
So this is Andy. So to kind of just be a little more detailed than just random, is there anyone
probably
last
not.
year, this year that kind of
Ma'am, I would really suggest practicing what you preach. Just saying.
wanted to be part of the group that wasn't included for whatever reason?
That part.
They just didn't fit in, but they kind of
And no
always
delay,
wanted to
because
hang
you were really
around, but
just like
never
right
were
there,
really
like in the
included,
conversation.
or
So
may have not felt
excuses
included.
are wild.
No, the only thing I could think of was like last year.
You were literally commenting in real time as we were having the conversation. But go ahead and try to gaslight that. That's fine. I'm done talking to you about it. I acknowledged it while you were chatting about it. Like, what? I want to see the photos.
There was a house that's right next door to, like the one that we're talking about, and like Xana was one of the residents at that house last year, and typically like football or basketball players would come and they were usually kicked out.
What was the reason for kicking them out?
Because none of us knew any of them, and they would just kind of show up, like they'd hear that there was a party there, and then they'd kind of show up and not be invited.
Okay. How did they act when they got kicked out? Were they okay with it, or were they?
I feel like we heard this from a Sigma Chi member too, about the delts. Didn't we hear this exact same thing? How about like the delts would just like hear that something was going on over there and they would just like show up? I feel like we heard this exact same story.
No,
but from a male voice.
The only thing I could think of was like last year, like there was a house that's right next door to like the one that we're talking about, and like Xana was one of the residents at that house last year, and typically like football or basketball players would come and they were usually kicked out.
See, the basketball players.
What was the reason for kicking them out?
The basketball players. See, and that's so important to me. That is so important to me because Dylan's literal description, the actual description, gets so just like tossed aside. And granted, Dylan's full of shit. But for the cops to not consider the things that she said on top of the stories that we've also like learned from these interviews about these delts, these basketball players, these athletically built basketball built men, okay, just going into these places, thinking that they're entitled to, staying around until they're kicked out. And in her description, it's a athletic basketball type guy that's walking around. And we know that there's an issue with these basketball playing delts doing whatever they want to hell to do. I just don't understand why that wasn't taken more seriously by the police, since they want to hang on to every word that Dylan says. Why didn't they actually hang on to every word that Dylan says? Their behavior is so backwards.
Because none of us knew any of them. And they would just kind of show up, like they'd hear that there was a party there, and then they'd kind of show up and not be invited.
Okay. How did they act when they got kicked out? Were they okay with it, or were they kind of entitled because they were athletes, thinking they should be included or anything like that?
From what I saw last year, they're pretty chill about it. They're just like, okay, we'll leave, kind of thing.
Okay.
And so you mentioned that was next door. Can you tell me what house that would have been? Or do you know the address?
I can't think of the address off the top of my head, but it's like
Would you be able to at some point kind of go on Google Map and drop a pin and just
and they still don't
picture to
really
this phone
quite
number?
Understand where she's talking about?
Yeah, I definitely could do that.
Okay.
So if you're looking at the
this is why I said they needed to not send these people out. This is another example, just like yesterday, listening to Braden's. This is another example of why a local Moscow Police Department officer needed to be in on these interviews, because these guys are so lost. She's literally describing a house in the neighborhood, and they are lost as shit. And again, this is going to go on for like some minutes. There's going to be a little bit of silence, I think, if I remember right. And then at the end of everything, they still really aren't quite sure what she's talking about.
The front door of where it all happened at 1122 King. If you're looking at the front door, is that house on the right or the left or across the street?
It would
be. Silence, and they're still going to be so lost about where they're at right now. No, but you know what's crazy? You know what's actually crazy? These psychos have their bells on. They come over here and see instantly what I'm talking about, so they can be the first to post it in like their little Reddit groups or their little Facebook groups. And they hate me. They're the first ones to come running like I'm ringing the damn dinner bell. But they hate me. Isn't that crazy? Insane. People are really crazy. People are really wild. See, I don't know why this is redacted either. Like, we know the neighborhood, we know the houses, we know the layout, and this, That's all that she's doing is describing where this house is. And they're still going to be lost. Listen to this shit.
I'm trying to think of where.
Is it kind of a newer?
Bro, I don't know who the frick that little piece of shit is, but the first day that they made that account, they came over here running their stupid ass mouths, and I had to block them. Like, y'all remember that crazy ass person that came in here asking me for help the other day, and then I had screenshots of her big old stupid self? Let me see if I still have the Scout ones on my phone or if I already put them in the folder. I might have already put them in the folder. Well, that's my cat in the sink. Hold on. I might have put him in the folder. Oh, there's the crazy lady. Hold on. Yeah, right here. Let me turn off the light and show you again. It's a picture of Kohberger and his dog. Okay. Literally, the account was created the same day they came over to the channel running their stupid ass mouths. And it's the picture of Kohberger and his dog. Like he's licking Kohberger's face. The second they made an account, they came over here running their stupid mouths. Instant block. Instant, I'm going to hide your ass because you're pathetic. Like, you went and made an account, named it that. You went and found a picture of a person that you claim that you hate, that you think did all these horrible things, of him and his dog playing, made an account with that name, and then you run your mouth online. There's padded rooms for people like you, bro. Somebody should love you enough to 5150 your ass. Like, so serious. Because that's a mental illness.
Or like newer siding, kind of been remodeled a little bit
because
more
I have them
recently.
hidden, crazy.
Yeah.
I have them
maybe.
hidden over here.
Okay. Yeah, just to be safe,
Day one
when you
hidden.
get a chance, just drop a pin
Done.
on that house and send a screenshot to this number.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely
Just
do
so we
that.
can make sure we're talking about the same house.
Like, people think I don't keep
Yeah.
receipts. I keep receipts, baby.
So,
All of them.
back
All of
to
them.
the people who live there. It's my understanding that Maddie and Kaylee lived upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Who's on the middle floor?
On the main floor is in Xana's room.
Okay, and then is the one in the basement?
Yes.
All right.
Was there anybody else in that? Because I think there's another room. Was anyone else in that room?
No, they used it as a spare room. Typically, like, if someone needed to stay the night or, like, for whatever reason, like, there's usually a bed in there that someone could just crash on, but no one lived in that room.
Okay.
But somebody was
was
going to be
dating
moving in, but
anybody
then
this
that
year?
got changed after all this happened.
Yes. Has a boyfriend named.
Okay. Where does live?
Okay, so now they're talking about Quinn.
Okay. Was dating anybody this year?
Yes. Has a boyfriend named.
Okay. Where does live?
Somewhere here in.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you're down there. Had you ever met?
I have not met. From what I know, he hasn't visited Moscow.
That's the story.
I'm from, so I don't really make her come down to a lot. So
Sure.
Never had the opportunity to.
How long have they been dating?
I think, if I remember right.
Okay.
Did you ever go down to visit? Well, let me back up. So never came out to Moscow to visit, right?
Not that I'm aware of. He might have when we weren't super close, but I wouldn't have known.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right. Keep that in mind. She's only, like, really known Dylan for, like, a few months. Gotten close to Dylan over the past few months. So there could have been times that she just doesn't know about, but that has been, I guess, like, the rumor from day one is that Quinn never went down there. Which I just don't see how that's true. Like, he has a vehicle, he has transportation. There's photos that really make it seem as if he's there with Dylan, like in front of his vehicle, but the location isn't, like, as far as I can tell, concreted down. It just looks like it could be the area. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever believed that. Really.
And then did ever go down there to visit him?
Typically just on like school breaks, when people would go home.
Yeah. Okay. How would you describe like how did they talk about, were things good with them? Did they have a good relationship? What do you know, all the girl talk and whatnot? I mean, what was your take on that?
The girl talk. And then the silence, like if they have a good relationship and there's no problems, why can't we hear that they have a good relationship and there's no problems? I don't understand. But we also need to remember that in the stuff from the book, when it comes to the Sigma Chi party,
okay,
it talks about how Dylan like was hanging around with that Gideon guy, and they went like into an apartment alone, like together into somebody's apartment. And they were like hanging out, like back and forth with each other, going in and out, in and out, in and out. And I just know, like, the way that I am, if I'm in a relationship with someone, even if it's long distance, I'm not okay with you hanging out with another dude. Like, if I'm a dude, I'm not going to be okay with my chick hanging out with another dude one-on-one like that at a party. Like, you better go hang out in like a group of people, but you better not be hanging around with another guy and let him write his freaking name on your arm, Mrs. Ma'am. Because that ain't cute. That ain't cute. So I don't know what's being said right here, but if everything was hunky-dory and fine, I don't know why we can't hear that everything's hunky-dory and fine.
I think that's typical.
And then you heard that? I think that's typical. So what was being said? That because they were long distance, Dylan had her own little thing over here and Quinn didn't know shit about it, and that guy is just like, oh, that's typical? I mean, it's all just redacted and it's all just assumption, speculation. But what's being said right here, now that we know that stuff? So typical. What's typical? This is a lot of redaction for something typical. See?
Okay.
I think that's typical.
Wild.
So obviously she's dating him, but did she like bring guys home? Was she like having relationships with other guys while school was going on? Since obviously they didn't travel to see each other very often. I know it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about, but
background.
Was there other guys she was with?
No. I've never heard her talk about any other guy or seen her with another guy.
Okay.
Knowing her, she's very like loyal.
Oh.
You've known her for 3 months, babe. 3 months. 3 months. For one. I don't think Lakelynn was ever at the Sigma Chi party. So if she never went to the Sigma Chi party, then she wouldn't have seen Dylan hanging out with that Gideon guy.
Okay. Was there any guys, not just her, but I know a couple other girls have
my youngest is 8.
boyfriends that are long ways away. Is there any guys that you can remember trying to get with those girls that they would reject to be like, hey, I got a boyfriend or whatever? And it may appear that they were fine with it and not a huge deal, but just that you can remember them talking about like, oh, so-and-so was asked me on a date or something and I had to tell them no. Anything like that with any of those girls?
No, I never heard anything about a guy like trying to get with them or like go on a date or anything with any of those girls.
Okay.
What about does she have a boyfriend?
She
Bethany.
does not have a boyfriend.
But she was hooking up with Kai Davis. So much so, and he was at 1122 so much that when his roommates got word about what happened, they thought that he might have been one of the people that were there and killed because of how often he was at that house. I don't remember how long this one goes. Well, this one is pretty long. See, that's typical. That's typical teenage behavior. Yeah, pretty much. Hooking up is pretty much the same thing as friends with benefits. Yeah. That's what it seems like. Look how long this is. Yeah, bro. And this is about Bethany. Like, this was a question about who Bethany is dating. So that's kind of crazy. And remember Kai Davis's interview? Like, he didn't even say that he, like, went to contact Bethany or anything when he heard about, like, what happened at the house. Like, he didn't even bother to call her or text her or anything to make sure that she was alive. Oh my God. This is about Bethany? Unless they're talking about something else, but the question was about Bethany, and that ticker is still going. Da-doop, 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 da-doop. I guess we wait. OMG. OMG. Wow. Silence feels so long when it's actually silence, isn't it? And again, she was asked about Bethany and her dating life. Oh my God. Yeah. They'll all come rushing in here the second I'm done and open the door. Damn. I'm going to skip.
Because his part.
And just get to where they're talking again, because holy shit.
What, I guess let's kind of shift gears just a little bit.
3 minutes of silence and let's just like no context. Okay.
I know Ethan had an apartment kind of close by. How often would he stay the night with Xana?
Never. I mean, never home.
I'm
always
pretty
with
sure
Xana.
he stayed with Xana almost every night.
Like he kind of had an apartment for his clothes and stuff, and where his.
Wouldn't that be some stupid shit if they're sitting there trying to tell me that the reason why the actual place of residence for Ethan Chapin is in the police reports is because he was staying, because there's like laws, right? Like certain laws for certain things, like residing in a place and having like your personal belongings in a place for like a certain amount of days, and then like you getting maybe mail at that address as well. Like there's all these different stipulations, and we know they like to play bullshit, right? So what if Ethan was getting mail over at 1122 and had been for like over 30 days, and so legally, even though he has a lease, maybe it's under his parents' name and not his name, which is probably what the situation is. But what if technically his place of residence, because he doesn't have his name on a lease at the apartment and he was always over at 1122, is 1122 according to the police? Like, I feel like maybe that's the bullshit they're trying to play. Right? Because his clothes and everything were there. Yeah, depends on the state, depends on the rules. But I bet you that's kind of like the bullshit they're going to come back at me for. Because I asked very specifically what his official place of residence at the time of the murders. I bet you that's what it is.
Parents sent his mail, and then he pretty much lived with Xana.
Yeah, because his apartment is a little further away, and I knew.
But is that true, considering that it was an off-campus house that had nothing to do with the university, and he already had an apartment that he was living in? Like, I don't think the same rules apply to that house because it's not campus related, right? But see, like, there's no way they didn't check his apartment. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're just full of shit. Right? Like, I don't think the rules matter. Well, thank you, Sparkly. Thank you. Hey, Sarah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way that they didn't, right? I think they're playing games, which is not new.
He like didn't have Wi-Fi or anything, so he's pretty much always at Xana's house.
He didn't have Wi-Fi, so his parents got him that apartment and didn't get him internet and expected him to stay there? How are they expect him to do his schoolwork without giving him internet? He did not have Wi-Fi. What was the point then, Jim and Stacy, of getting him an off-campus house with no freaking internet? He's on academic probation because his grades are crap, and you don't give him internet so he can do his schoolwork? Okay.
Every time I was there, he always stayed the night.
How are things between them?
Yeah, they got multiple houses, but can't afford I don't care about a library. Can't afford internet? Like, that's crazy. They did. That's wild.
Yeah, I didn't see either one of them on Saturday, but I was with them Friday.
Yeah, they can definitely afford it.
They just looked like they were.
It is needed.
Having a great time. I could tell like they really loved each other.
Yeah. Okay.
How did the other girls feel about him staying there all the time? Like,
he needs to have it at his house.
Did they all get along, or was it kind of like, oh, you're freeloading in our house because you're here with Xana? Was there any kind of...
Apparently, like at the frats. See, that's something else that we learned, is that he wasn't supposed to be like at any of the parties or at any of the stuff except for like the official like meetings and stuff like that for the frat. But then in the interviews, they would say that they would like leave a window crack so Ethan can get through the window. And they would say that he would come in and he would play their stuff. I'm guessing maybe he would play at Xana's sometimes, but there was no system there unless he was playing it on his device. They also played Clash of Clans together. We heard that Xana was also like part of like their Clash of Clans little unit that they had, which is a mobile game. So yeah. That's just crazy. No freaking Wi-Fi at the apartment. Like, what the frick?
A rift because he was staying there all the time?
Not that I'm aware of. I know he would sit and watch movies with them. He would just hang out and talk with them. And I think like they were all good friends with Ethan. And I don't think they ever would have seen him as like a burden or something.
And did he kind of help all of them out if they needed help? What kind of guy is he?
Yeah, he would help them with anything if they needed it. He's really good at talking to people, like giving advice and stuff. Like he's given me good advice before. And I know like he's like helped like Xana like cook and stuff and like clean up the place after like a party or something. And
okay.
How about Maddie and Kaylee? Or I guess let's start with Maddie. How was her relationship going?
Like with her boyfriend?
Yeah. Or did you know her boyfriend?
I had only met him a couple times. The last time that I saw him was on homecoming weekend. It was, I believe, the very beginning of October. I know he came up, and I said hi to him then, but I didn't really know him super well. I also like never really knew Maddie like on like a deeper level. It was just kind of like a friendship thing. Be like, you know, we would talk, but like not get like into anything like with relationships or
acquaintances.
Had you met Kaylee's boyfriend?
I have not. I met Kaylee at the beginning of this year around like August. But a lot of the times I was there, she usually either wasn't home or she was just upstairs in her room.
Okay. So let's kind of go back towards that night on Saturday. Just kind of walk me through.
No, but college rules wouldn't apply to a house that wasn't owned by the college, though, is like what we're saying. Because even Kaylee over the summer had another girl in the room with her at 1122, just over the summer, in which we didn't know that for a while either. But everyone there had leases, separate leases. It was managed under Team Idaho. It didn't have any college rules. None. Like the frat houses would definitely have those. And it sounds like maybe even the off-campus house that the guy last night, his girlfriend lived at, closer to the corner club, maybe that house maybe would have rules, because he said that they were all in the exact same sorority, and he didn't really make mention of it being like technically like a not campus related house. But for sure 1122 was a not campus, not college related whatsoever house that had a private owner, that had a management company that was dealing with it. And we also already know that Kaylee did have somebody staying in her exact room with her somehow. I guess maybe they were sharing the bed or something. I don't know. We didn't really got a lot of details on that, but we just know like over the summer that was a situation. I just don't know why, like, after meeting Xana and like hanging out with Xana over the summer, why they wouldn't just like be okay with him staying with her at 1122 for that, like just that semester. Like if Kaylee could do it over the summer, why couldn't that have just been the thing? And instead of them paying a freaking lease to an apartment he was never at and wasting money, why didn't they just maybe pay half of whatever Xana's portion was for her lease, since Ethan was going to be staying there? You know what I mean? Like, why didn't they just make that deal instead of getting him an apartment he was never at? That whole situation with Ethan is just crazy. The whole situation with Ethan is just insane. Thank you for the 999, Brianna. Okay, I have a genuine question. I feel stupid for it, but do we know if Bethany or Dylan could have been on any bipolar or schizophrenia meds or anything like that? No, Dylan probably, yeah. And that's not just because I don't like her. There is a lot of information in her interview when they start talking about like her medical history and stuff like that, that gets completely redacted. The only portions that we heard that are out there is that before the crime took place, before she was super paranoid. She would hear noises and she would call people over to come and check them out because she thought somebody was in the house, which conveniently when somebody was in the house, she didn't do a freaking thing about it. Right. That she would have these nightmares that people were chasing her, trying to kidnap her and kill her. These are things that she had issues with beforehand. So then you take into consideration some of the new information coming out in this book in way of her journal and things that were found in her room. And then we have apparently her drawing pictures of bloody body parts and all kind of creepy shit. So yeah, no, there was definitely mental health issues when it comes to Dylan. Definitely. It's not a stupid question. That's a legitimate question, especially given everything around the whole thing. I think that probably takes like a higher weight than a lot of people want to admit that it does. And a lot of people just act like it's victim shaming. No, I don't give a shit. Dylan is not being honest about a damn thing. Her story wouldn't constantly change from him being 3 feet in front of her to him suddenly going out the slider and that's how they locked eyes. Nothing about her story has remained. She even lies straight off the bat that seeing this person prompted her to call Bethany. No, it didn't. Whatever the frick happened with Bethany is what prompted her to call Dylan. She's not being honest. So no, there's definite psychotic issues there when it comes to Dylan. For sure. I just don't know if we'll ever get the truth about the extent. But that's the redacted portions. You go back to the context clues. You listen to everything else that we already have heard. That is the redacted portions of her interview. Very important.
Your plans to go over there and hang out and kind of how that went down.
Yeah. So, basically I was at another house party, a little bit kind of like opposite from where they lived, and so I was there with some other friends, and then came over there to the house where I was, and we hung out there for a little bit, and then one of our guy friends called us a sober ride to go back to her house because we were kind of like hungry and getting tired.
Okay. So before excuse me, before we go too much further, do you know what address that house party was at that you were?
I don't know the address, but I could definitely like drop a pin of where it is.
If I'm kind of like before, if I'm looking at the front door of the 1122 King, where's that party? Where's that house that you're talking about in relationship to that front door?
It would be
like past the apartments or directly next to it?
No, like past the apartments. It's on a different street.
Okay, so I guess how long would it take you to walk from 1122 King to that party house?
Walking probably between 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, so it's a little bit a ways away.
Yeah.
Okay. And can you just, as much as you remember, can you tell me who you were there with at the house party that you remember?
Yes. So.
And I also remember us reading the report of the guy who brought them back. I'm pretty positive we read that report of that interview.
Do you want last names too?
Yeah, if you got them, that'd be great. And okay. I get this is a lot to kind of like spout out. Just we're just trying to be detail oriented and stuff. So as much as you can remember, we'll go for it.
Okay, so it wasn't a very big party, but the people that I do remember, one of the girls that lived there, her name's
was she kind of the hostess of the party that night or threw it?
Yes, she's the one that invited me and a couple other friends over. It was kind of like a small thing. It wasn't like a huge party.
Okay. All right, got her name. And
okay. And,
okay.
Notice he's using a pin here, so it's not horrible.
A female?
As a male.
Male. Okay.
Okay.
And then.
Can you spell?
Yeah, it's C.
Whose name is this that needs to be spelled with a C?
Okay. Anyone else?
I wonder.
And then eventually came over and met us.
Do you remember when out there?
I might have a text from her saying like when she was heading over. I can check really quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I was texting her before she came. That bedroom is all yours. Okay, thank you. Okay, maybe it might have been on Snapchat and that deletes
okay.
Our messages, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where Xana and Ethan were about that point in time?
I believe they were still at this fraternity.
Okay. So so your Kennedy and then out there, was there anybody else that you can't remember, or was that pretty much it?
There was a couple other people, but I don't remember because that was my first time ever meeting them.
Okay. And are all these people at this house party, are they also students?
Yes.
Are they all about the same like year, or was it kind of a mix of like freshmen to seniors and whatnot?
From what I remember, I don't remember any freshmen being there. So I think it was more like sophomores and juniors.
Okay. All right.
Did you take any photos at that party?
I actually have some things. I just have a couple of videos. And then I also took a video like shortly after I left that house and went to King Road.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that. That's great. That's helpful when we have stuff like that for sure. Who all went from the house there to 1122 King? Just you and?
Yes, from what I remember, yes.
Okay. And who gave you a ride there?
I don't remember his name, but he was a freshman in a fraternity, and he was their sobro. So basically, he was like sober the entire night, so he could give like friends and people rides home.
Okay. What kind of car was it?
I don't remember.
Okay. And what time did you get to 1122 King?
So the timestamp of the last video I took at the other house was 11:54, and I was at King Road. The first thing I have at King Road was at 12:43 a.m.
And was that like off of a picture, a video, or a text, or what?
These are off videos that I have in my camera roll.
Okay.
Okay, so the last timestamp of her and Dylan being at the party, not precisely when they took off, but the last video that she took was at 11:54 p.m. And then the first thing that she did at King Road was at 12:43. You know why that matters? And again, I don't know if her timestamps are off by an hour. I don't know where she's at. I don't know if that's a thing here. I'd have to go back and pull the report to see exactly where they were. So I don't know if there's like an hour discrepancy here or not. But I feel like there's not, because she's claiming to have left before the girls got back at 1:56. So if this was an hour after, like if this was an hour off, it would be like what, 1:43 was the first thing she did at King Road, and that would give her like 5 minutes to have been at King Road, and we know that that's not the case. But we also were told from Dylan that they got back over there after like 1 o'clock, that it was like 1:15, and then it was like closer to 1:30 that Bethany got there. That's what we've been told the whole time. So this would get them there a lot earlier, like a lot earlier than 1:15.
And when you got to 1122 King, who was all home at the time?
Not anyone that I remember. I can't remember if she was already home or if she came home right after us.
Okay, so just so I have this right, if she wasn't home when you guys got there, she showed up like right afterwards?
Yes, because when we first got to King Road, to that house, I went straight into the bathroom on the main floor,
which would be the second floor.
All right.
And then I'm pretty sure came home right after we got there, but I can't be positive.
Was there anybody else home at the time?
I don't think so. If they were in their rooms. I was on the main floor the entire time I was there.
Okay. And I guess what I'm asking is if you saw or if you knew anybody else was there. And I understand that like we're kind of thinking back. So if you don't remember something, it's totally fine. Just be like, I can't remember what, and you're doing great. Just throw that out there. It's totally fine to not remember something because you don't know what you don't know, right? So, yeah. So you guys got there around 12:43 in the morning there, or close to it at least. What'd you guys do?
So I went to the bathroom first thing when I got there, and then afterwards we went into the kitchen. and started making popcorn. I was sitting on the ground playing with Murphy
in the kitchen
while I was making popcorn.
Okay.
And then after the popcorn was done, we went into the living room and started watching The Vampire Diaries. And that's all we did the entire time I was there.
Okay. Were you guys all pretty engaged? Like, were you watching Vampire Diaries? Was it like kind of chat while you're doing it? Were you guys all like playing on your phones, or just kind of just to kind of go over that with me?
I mean, I think we were like, I was like texting people a little bit while watching the movie. We weren't really talking. It would just be like something small. And
so then why were they even hanging out? That's
took a
weird.
few pictures while we were on the couch. Like I took some videos of the Vampire Diaries, like zooming in on a certain scene. And then I have a couple selfies with on the couch.
Okay. I kind of jumped over something I wanted to talk about. When you guys got to the home, just so I'm clear here, and I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but when you guys got to 1122 King, to your knowledge, there was nobody inside.
Yes.
Okay. What door did you guys go through to get in the house?
The one with the keypad.
All right. And
so
did you know the key code?
I did know it. Yes.
All right. When you guys went into the house, is it typical for you guys to shut the door behind you when you go inside?
Yes.
And
so they went in through the front door, and instead of literally going right there in front of you as you walk into the front door, she goes all the way up to the second floor bathroom to pee. It's right there. Right there. Okay. That's kind of stupid.
And when you guys are home, hey, well, I know it's not your home, of course, but like when you're all there hanging out and whatnot, do you guys typically keep the doors locked? Are you pretty secure, or is it kind of like, hey, this is a no? Like a lot of people kind of come and go, and it's open to come over here, have a few beers, or make a drink or something. Or what's kind of the vibe when you're there?
Yeah. So I know there is a few people that do have the door code.
Well, see, she said earlier in the interview that the vibe is rare for them to just like sit around and watch a movie, that's not usual. But just so happens to be what you're doing that night is the not usual part, and y'all aren't even having a conversation. You're just like hanging out together. Like everything apparently was just abnormal. Everything.
And with the sliding door, like every time I've been over, it's been unlocked.
So the slider's typically unlocked, and the front door, it locks behind you, right? A door like that?
Yes, it locks behind you.
Okay. Do you know who all has the front key code?
Everyone at this point.
I'm not sure who all has it. Xana gave it to me a couple weeks ago, just so I could let myself in, but I don't know who all has it.
Why did you need to let yourself in?
And how long were you there watching movies? About what time did you leave?
So the last photo that I took there, the timestamp was 1:33 a.m. And then I have a picture of me at where I live at 2:19 a.m.
When you left there and went to, when you left 1122 King, where'd you go from there?
I walked to
and that's your sorority?
Yes, and I live inside the sorority.
Okay, so that's and you went there on foot?
Yes.
How long does it take you to walk from the King Road address to your sorority?
Roughly about like 15 minutes.
Okay. And so just kind of going off these timestamps and doing some rudimentary mathematics here. That picture of you back at your sororities at 2:19 in the morning, it takes about 15 minutes. So would you think you might have left around 2 from King?
Yes.
Okay. And I know we're not like trying to get it down to I'm just trying to get as close as we can kind of figure out to that. And
yeah.
Okay. And so the whole time you were there.
Okay. So this is the photo. This is the photo at 1:33. Okay. This is Dylan on the couch. I wish we knew what was being asked or what was being talked about here, because whatever is being sent for this like snap response, whatever she's sending has the word no on it. And notice the pong table is in the back. The cups are standing up instead of being all over the floor, but it's back here. This is at 1:33. And mind you, this is the photo that Chris Whitcomb put out here to the public. In his interviews, he says it's at 1:33 in the morning. But in the book, he says it's at 2:27. Sir, you literally came out here and already told us it was at 1:33. So I don't know why it's wrong in the book, but this is the photo. This is the photo. And it looks like she has like a gray or black, maybe. Gray or black, maybe sweater. This is also the blanket. This is the pink blanket that has blood on it. This is the blanket. So let's keep that in mind too. Let's keep that in mind too.
There, did anybody else arrive home, or were you aware of anybody else in the house?
No, I wasn't aware of anyone else being home.
Okay. Whose dog is Murphy?
That would be Kaylee's dog.
So Murph seems kind of like a friendly pup. Is he pretty used to a lot of people coming over, and how is he with strangers?
Yeah, he's pretty yeah, he's a really sweet dog. I've never really heard him like bark or anything before, and typically when there's a lot of people over, he's usually put away, I'm assuming in Kaylee's room, but
Okay.
He's not usually running around.
Okay. When you guys got home, did anybody let Murphy out and like let him back in?
I'm pretty sure went and got him out of Kaylee's room.
Yeah, Dylan did.
But again, I'm not 100% for sure. When I came out of the bathroom, Murphy was already in the kitchen.
I don't know why they're blanking out her name
Okay.
right there.
Does everybody kind of share responsibility for letting Murphy out if Kaylee's not there?
I think so. I think Kaylee usually, like, if she knew someone was home, would probably like reach out and be like, "Hey, like, could you maybe let Murphy out?"
Okay. Let's see here.
This is like another example, though, of like how the interviews, none of them are talking like Kaylee was no longer there. It's all very present tense. Because remember, there's still discrepancy for some reason with some people about if Kaylee was still living there or not. None of the interviews, none of the people that were there, none of the people that were hanging around with them, none of the people that were in that house ever make a mention of her not living there anymore.
Feel about the dog? Did everyone in the house like the dog?
Yes, he's one of the sweetest dogs ever, and he like didn't bite. He had a lot of energy, so like sometimes he'd get kind of jumpy, and then like the girls would just be like, "Murphy, like, no, stay down." But other than that, like, no, they all really, really liked the dog.
And so when I know you guys were watching the movies and kind of hanging out and whatnot, what was your conversation like? What did you guys talk about typically at the house that night?
Kind of just what like we did during the day. Like I wasn't with either one of them for a very long time. Or like I was with other people the entire day, so I was kind of just like telling them like something funny that happened. And I think that was kind of the same for them. They would just
it does look different, doesn't it? Now we only see like a little bit of the sleeve, but it definitely does not look like the right color. You're right.
Say something funny that
like she
like
changed.
happened or they saw or heard.
Sure.
But I don't remember any specifics.
Okay. And when you left, how did you?
But see, that's the stupid part. That's the stupid part. They came out and made it sound like that in the very beginning. And now over the past like 2 months, they're going into their stupid Facebook comment threads and they're saying that whoever started that rumor is so irresponsible. Y'all did. Y'all are the ones who came out and told us that she had moved out, that she was getting all these things together. And now you're coming out hammering down the fact that she never moved out of that house because now all of the proof is coming out that y'all were wrong. And you don't want to take responsibility for the fact that y'all are the ones who came out here and said that. That's just one of like 8 off the top of my head things that the Goncalveses are responsible for in way of freaking misinformation. And not just about Maddie. They pulled it. I mean, not just about Kaylee. They pulled it with shit with Maddie. They pulled it with the door, causing issues when it comes to the storyline that came out about Xana and Ethan for like years because of this damn interview that Christy did with freaking Drunk Turkey. They did it with information when it comes to stuff against Kohberger. They did it with all kinds of things and have not taken a lick of responsibility. They literally threw an entire gas can into an already lit dumpster fire about 18,000 times. But we're the bad guys for trying to make sure that we try to at least get it smoldering. No, freaking weirdos. Oh, and I also saw on TikTok that Nancy freaking Disgrace is like on the board of their little DNA thingy that they put together. You know, I only have so many energy bars throughout the day that I can really deal with shit. So I'm just going to leave that one alone for today.
Leave through the slider or through that front door?
I went through the front door.
All right. And when you left and walked back to your sorority, did you see anybody outside on the road or anywhere? Did you see anybody when you walked home?
I didn't see anybody. A couple cars drove by, but I didn't really pay much attention. But I didn't see anyone like walking or anything. It was pretty quiet walk home.
Do you remember what kind of cars you might have seen?
No.
Okay.
Just walking.
Yeah, that's fine. I know it's kind of.
I would never
not really try to pay attention to that when you're walking home.
When people came and go from the house, it sounds like it's pretty typical they use the front door, but did people come through the back slider, like walk up around the house just to come in the slider?
Yeah, some people have before.
Okay.
Like all the time.
Let's see here. Give me 1 second.
I think it's going to be almost over here in a second. Oh, no, there's still like 12 minutes. What else, dude?
Phone numbers for these girls, I think, get it, but I want all those pictures.
They're like little 8th graders.
I don't know what else. I would say see if she can just send those contact info.
I don't know, man. Get her number.
And then the pictures.
So funny.
Okay. Is there anything else about that night that I haven't asked about or that you think I should know or might need to be aware of?
Not that I can think of. I mean, that's pretty much everything that happened that night. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that would help.
Okay.
And then I know this sounds like an obvious question because you tell us if you knew, but if you had to think of someone you've seen around campus, someone that's been around, anything like that could do something like this or would do something like this, is there anyone like that you can think, and I understand you may not know their name, but just someone you may have seen in the last you've been going to school, or I guess you've been going to school here. Anybody like that come to mind?
No, I can't really think of anyone. And I've just been hearing so many things too about like people speculating. So I don't think I can't think of anyone that would be like involved with this.
Okay.
Did you ever hear from any of the girls that lived there? Did you ever hear them talk about kind of a creepy guy, someone who made them feel uncomfortable, or anyone who they felt was kind of like the stalker type or anything like that?
I didn't hear any of them talk about anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As of right now, that's kind of the conversation that we needed to have with you.
Okay.
It is absolutely possible because of how close you were to these people and you were there that night. We might have some follow-up questions for you once I kind of give all this information to our other detectives and stuff and we talk about it. So somebody will probably be reaching out to you again and like, hey, let's talk about this a little bit more. Or, hey, do you remember this? That kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not easy to talk about all this. The more we know and the more we can learn, the better chance we have of bringing this to an end, you know. What I'm going to ask, do you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone.
Okay, perfect. Can you send me the contact cards you have for and
yes.
If you have their numbers at least.
Okay, yeah, some of them I just have on like social media.
Okay.
But I can send you the ones that I do have.
Yeah, that'd be great. Can you do that right now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. And it's just to this number?
Yep, just to this number.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much for the next like 8 minutes, they're gonna go through and like send each other stuff.
Do you have anything?
I mean, she's gonna send stuff over.
Social media or number or anything?
Oh, thank you for the $4.99, Katie. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I just have him on social media.
Can you just send like a screenshot of like his little homepage with his name and whatever?
Yeah, I can do that.
Me neither.
And then those pins for those houses.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
The pins for those houses? You mean the pin for the house?
I'm typing in your number right now.
Okay. This is it's my work cell, so like if anything comes up or if you remember anything, like you can text or call this at any point. If I don't answer, I return calls as fast as I can, especially in this instance. So yeah, this is you can 24/7 if something comes up, you can contact us.
Okay.
Location pins, that makes sense, yeah.
Okay, so it looks like the only phone number I have is.
Okay, that's fine.
A J one?
You said they're all students.
Do you want the social
media
that she has?
The only number she has is a J name.
I can send you all their like social medias if you
wonder
want.
If it's Jenna.
Yeah, that would actually be great because then because I can try to get in touch with people in a lot of different capacities. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Or Jack. Josie, Jenna, Jack. We're at like only Jack Showalter was in a class with Maddie. I don't remember hearing about anybody else having classes.
Okay, I just
You're not
sent the
wrong about
last social media.
Is that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is, can you send me like literally every picture or video that you took the entire night, like starting from the party house? And I understand a lot of these are probably going to be like goofy pictures and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Totally fine. You'd be amazed what kind of things can help us from gathering data like that. Especially the ones that were at 1122 King.
Okay.
So that's the last thing that I'm going to ask you to do.
Okay.
If it's of like a very personal or private nature, and that's not exactly what I'm going for here. It's mostly like you and your activities. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay.
And understand, we're not concerned with people being in trouble for anything else, because we understand there's going to be underage kids and other activities. We need to see some of all those things to put the bigger picture together.
Yeah, I meant whenever I meant to start the conversation, but actually I'm glad he brought that up, because we fully expect that there's going to be like, I don't know, people under 21 drinking, or like we literally don't care. What we're investigating obviously is that's just not what we're not worried about that at all. So please don't let that stop you or anyone else from like, getting to something that we can use.
Okay. Okay, I'm sending the photos right now. So they should show up here in a
I
second.
wonder if these are FOIA-able.
Okay. Are you sending them in a group or like in a like 3 or more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's internet's been acting crazy. Mine's been bad. At first, I thought it was just my computer, but like it's all the devices.
Okay, it's downloading some of them. Just let me verify I got all these. Actually, I know it might be kind of a pain. Would you mind sending them individually, just in case?
Yeah.
In case the iCloud link kind of gets corrupted or whatever, I have the individual picture that I can just save right off my phone. Could you just do that?
Yes, I can do that. Really.
Okay, perfect.
We didn't need to see that.
Okay, it might just take me a second, but
yeah, totally fine.
Yeah, I wonder if I can FOIA these.
Okay, I just sent all of them.
Okay, I think I got them all. There's a couple last things that I remember that I want to talk to you about. After you left around 2:00 or whenever it was on that Saturday morning, or Sunday morning, I'm sorry, early Sunday morning, after you left, how long was it before you heard from either or again?
That's a good question.
It was after we got the vandal alert, because I was trying to get a hold of everyone to see if everyone was okay. So that was the lot. That was the only time I contacted them after I left the house.
Okay, so, and was it them text?
Did she say, and I contacted them after I left the house? Is that what she said?
It was after we got the vandal alert, because I was trying to get a hold of everyone to see if everyone was okay. So that was the lot.
After the alert.
The only time I contacted them after I left the house.
And I contacted them after I left the house. So there should be correspondence for that then. There should be timestamps that wouldn't it have been just Dylan? Or then maybe she messaged both Dylan and Bethany to let them know that she got home, possibly. Maybe that's the picture. The first picture at 2:19 a.m. that she takes at her house. Maybe it's like the snap that she sends to let them know that she got home. I still want to know what the no was for in the snap that she sent with the picture of Dylan. Like, what was the question? I really want to know that.
Okay, so, and was it them texting you or was it you texting them?
I tried calling them and they didn't answer. So I texted a group chat that my sorority uses, and replied in the group chat saying that her
Okay.
Like,
What?
I didn't hear necessarily straight from
Okay.
Bethany.
Okay.
A group chat that my sorority uses, and replied in the group chat saying that her.
Okay.
Like, I didn't hear necessarily straight from
Okay.
Bethany.
Okay, so what she just said is that after the alert, she didn't hear anything, so she texted a group that the sorority uses. She never heard directly from Dylan and Bethany. She got the response that Dylan and Bethany were okay from somebody else who answered in the group chat, is how I'm understanding that. One more time.
Was it them texting you, or was it you texting? How long was it before you heard from either or again?
It was after we got the vandal alert.
Okay.
Because I was trying to get a hold of everyone to see if everyone was okay.
What does everyone mean, though?
So that was the lot. That was the only time I contacted them after I left the house.
Okay.
Okay. So, and was it them texting you, or was it you texting them?
I tried calling them and they didn't answer. So I texted a group chat.
Okay.
That my sorority uses, and replied in the group chat saying that her.
Okay.
Like, I didn't hear necessarily straight from
Okay. Okay. And then did you at any point on Saturday night, did you text, call, FaceTime, Snap, whatever, anybody else that would have been at that house?
No.
Okay. All right. I think for real this time that's all I have to ask about.
Okay.
Just please remember to drop us those pins of those two houses. And is there, I always ask this before I go, or I always say this before I let someone go. A lot of times we call people and pretty quick, like, oh yeah, I was waiting for you to call me. I think I have some stuff that might be helpful, like we're trying to get a hold of a lot of people, but if you know anybody, or if you've heard anybody say, yeah, I'm waiting for the police to call because I think I have something they could use, please reach out to them and have them call the tip line or my number or Moscow police or literally anything, because we're working through a pretty large amount of people to talk to and stuff, and we know there's stuff out there that people have to say. But if they can kind of reach out and kind of direct us to who we need to talk to first, that is really, really helpful.
I believe Krillo said she was wondering if you guys were going to call her or something, so I can let her
Did she
know.
just give a last name?
Yeah. If you have her on social media too, if you could either give her my number
Carrillo,
or get her phone number, give it to me, and I can call her, and we can get put in touch that way. That'd be really helpful.
I feel like I saw that name in this book.
If there's nothing else, well, is there anything else you think I should know about anything we talked about, or even not?
I can't think of anything right now, but if something comes to mind, I'll definitely give you a call.
Okay.
But right now, I don't think I have anything else I can think of.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking to us. We'll probably reach out to you again at some point, and we're working as hard as we can.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
See you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Claire Cirillo, I guess. Her name is right here in the book, talking about Bethany's interview. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was part one. I'm guessing she talks about taking video and pictures of Ethan's clothes in the second one when they're actually like going through the timestamps and stuff again, because that's what it sounds like they're doing, that they're going back through everything that she had given them to re-get their timestamps down. That is freaking weird. But we do know that apparently there's messages that Ethan had planned to change over at the King house. And that makes sense considering the rest of the things that we were also told from Bethany and Dylan about how that night went down in way of them like getting over to the Sigma Chi party. Because we weren't really sure. We were told for the longest time, like the freaking longest time, that Xana was already at that party when Ethan and Hunter got there, and that was not the truth. That was not the truth. Oh, I'm trying to put my thingy above in here. What actually was going on was that a freshman and Ethan went over to that house in order to escort Xana, Bethany, I feel like there was somebody else. I always feel like there was somebody else, and it wasn't Dylan because Dylan walked over by herself later. I guess it could have been Maddie. Bethany and Maddie maybe were escorted over by the freshmen, and then Ethan and Xana came right afterwards, but they apparently all walked. Because we know that Maddie ends up walking back, because this would have been like between 9 and 10. Because Hunga Dunga was over at 9. And then we also know that Maddie walked back right before they left to go to the corner club, and she was holding like a box of White Claw, is how we understand it. So don't quote me on Maddie and Bethany being walked over by the freshmen, but I know for sure it wasn't just Bethany. I feel like it was Maddie. That's all in the interviews, though. We can figure all that out when we go back over the interviews later. But for him to have told Xana that he was going to change over there, for his clothes to have been in there, like all of that makes sense for what we've already known, especially since we know that he never went to his apartment for anything. Now, they do say that according to the logs that and I don't know how he doesn't know this answer. Like, I feel like this is something so important that you should know this answer if you've actually seen the logs. It's something about, something about the vehicle getting there. So here it is, getting to the Kappa Alpha house, leaving the Kappa Alpha house. And then, according to this, at 21:27 hours, which is what time? I'm not good with military time. Military time and time zones always F me up. For some reason. I can't play piano. I can play piano, but I can't drive a standard either. So I don't know. Everything about me is a little bit backwards. 9 p.m. So at 9:27 is when it's claiming that the black SUV, the Explorer, gets to King Road, and they believe that Ethan is the one driving it. And then there's nothing else about it the rest of the time. So they assume that he gets there at 9:27. According to the logs, which I wish that they would release them. Says he stops at Sigma Chi at 24 and then leaves Sigma Chi at 25. So I'm assuming that's when he drops off Hunter and picks up the freshman. And then they would have driven over to 1122. And then they walk over. There's so much stuff in here for this section too. There's so much in this section too. That part's going to be wild to get to. But I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like they're playing games with me when it comes to Ethan's apartment FOIA. I just don't know how else to ask it. I just feel like with the way that the laws work for staying places for a certain amount of time, that maybe they're trying to say that it was his residence because his name wasn't on the lease at the apartment and that's just where he was I don't know. We'll see. Let me see if I have a response from her. And wasn't somebody supposed to email me some photos? I don't have any emails with any photos of anybody either. Yeah, I saw that and was curious, so I opened it and I sort of like skimmed through the whole thing. And I don't see her pulling up a map, and I could have missed it, but I don't see her pulling up a map and like I don't know what the hell she's trying to do, whatever. But his clothes, like his blue suit, like his blue blazer is like bunched up and like in the living room, is it not? Like we see like the suit that he was wearing in Hunga Dunga, like crumpled up in that house. So I don't know. Everybody has their own opinions on things. I don't know what she's trying to say with that. I didn't see a map or anything that she was talking about. I have no idea. I have no freaking idea. If I ask straight up for the apartment that was in Jim and Stacy's name, they'll definitely get shot down. We already know how they play. They have like 25,000 lawyers looking at things. So who freaking knows? That's what I said. I'm pretty sure that's basically like the wording. Let me pull it back up. I said, okay, well, maybe I didn't use the word legal. I said, I'm requesting any investigative reports, supplemental reports, photographs, or anything else related to any visits, investigations, or evidence collections from the apartment in which was considered Ethan Chapin's actual place of residence at the time of the 1122 King Road homicides. So yeah, maybe I should reword it to legal because I feel like they're messing around. I feel like they're messing with me with it. So I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to try the legal thing. I'm going to give her some time, like a day or so to respond, and then I'm going to send in another one. And I still have not heard from Chief Dollinger at all. Let me pull up that email. I'm going to read y'all this email. Let me print this out to PDF so that I can block out my phone number that's on it. And then I'm going to pull this up on the screen and I'm going to read y'all this email that I sent to him. And I'm going to leave my email open so when I get off of here, I can send a follow-up. Because he was told back in the 1122 days to expect me to contact him. He was told again after I got off the phone with the city attorney. He's been expecting me for a minute. Like, for real. He has. Like, been expecting me for like a minute. So, no answer at all to something very detailed with proof is crazy. So, I'm going to send him a follow-up email today. And then I'm just going to cold call his ass with it recording because I mean, what other choice are you giving me? Like, what other choice are you giving me? All right, so let me read this so that you guys know exactly what it is that I'm asking for and what I'm telling him. Because it's been a week. It's April 28th. April 28th. So ridiculous. Okay. So I said to him, let me fix this. I said, good morning. My name is Julia, and I run the True Crime Reactions YouTube channel. Back in October of 2025, I began requesting the 1112 King Road footage that was a major piece of evidence in the 1122 King Road homicide case. We were originally told the only footage available was from 2:20 to 12:05, but reports showed differently. After Amber in the FOIA department and Tim Smaldridge, which also is the person who, side note, is the person who resubmitted the Q-tip swab on 11/18. After Amber in the FOIA department and Tim Smaldridge did some digging, they were able to find the remaining 12:55 a.m. to 2:25 a.m. footage from the camera. For some reason, these files were not being stored together. The lost footage was found in a separate folder, and Amber used that word herself. The word lost in the emails. We paid for this footage via FOIA and soon received the files, but 2 sections were missing. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and the most important time frame for when the victims would have been getting back home, which was 12:55 a.m. to 2:25 a.m. This portion was not added to the workflow, according to an email from Amber on 12/9/2025. Now, even though we already paid for this portion of the camera footage because it was included in the original cost letter, we were forced to pay an additional amount in order to obtain the 12:55 to 2:25 a.m. time frame, just for there to be no audio. Not fully redacted, no audio. Now, Ann Taylor did state in a hearing in 2023 that the 1112 King Road video was stitched together, had audio missing, etc. But it was and is still concerning since so many people were given remote access to this footage before Mowry downloaded it by being given the login information from the owner. This is also in an MPD report. So after going rounds with Amber and also speaking with Mia, the city attorney, we were under the impression that somehow there just so happened to not be any audio in that time frame until recently. This book is coming out because I wrote this the day before I got my book. This book is coming out with the author claiming they have been given Brady discovery information, among other things, from someone who directly worked with the defense, and in it there is a table that the author is claiming was written by law enforcement for Bill Thompson to use, and in it lists 2 timestamps of noises heard on the 1112 King Road camera that we have no audio for. This is the timeline of events for this audio as I presented to my viewers and that I presented to Amber via email on 12/23/25. And yes, I gave it to her just as detailed. This is also something I put in a video for the chain of custody for the SD card from the time that we actually see Gunderson being handed it all the way to the end. We did that video a while back, but this is also in the email because he needs to know that we're not stupid. An SD card was retrieved by Gunderson, but Mowry couldn't access the contents, so the card was given back to the owner who lived at 1112. This was all done on 11/13/22, and as far as I can tell, there is no time or date for when it was given back. On 11/17/22, Mowry had Officer Morris retrieve the camera again after having Rosinski contact the original person with the SD card. Mowry then had an image made of the SD card's contents on 11/18 and then used another program to convert the data to a format that could be read. Mowry then downloaded the app for the camera to his work phone on 11/19. 6 days later, 6 days of people having remote access before the cops actually had an actual working copy. Okay. I hate this. I hate this case. Mowry then downloaded the app for the camera to his work phone on 11/19/22 and downloaded all the clips with audio, then placed them on a DVD that was placed in evidence. There should be a middle in there for how the clips got from his work phone to the DVD. Another device would have been needed to have been used to make that work. In June of 2023, Detective Fox, which is Andrew Fox, then took these clips and stitched them together using Axion and then placed the 17 frames on a portable hard drive. This would be at the least with what is actually being stated in these Moscow police reports, 8 or so different copies, downloads, files, or versions of this footage. Now, as of this week, we can not only add the following information that the book mentioned above. Here we have 216 and 217 from the timeline, apparently created by law enforcement. Okay, apparently created by law enforcement. So then I stated we also have a motion to compel hearing from 2024 where Ann Taylor now confirms with the court that item number 11 in their discovery request no longer needs to be addressed because the state handed them everything. Item 11 was the 1112 King Road footage. This was in the motion to compel hearing from May 30th of 2024. So how do we get the footage with the audio mentioned in this book by the written by law enforcement timeline and also confirmed by Ann Taylor, since we already paid for that timeline and we're given silent footage? Because I be damned, we pay another damn dime. Please contact me back via email or you can call my work line. It is Google Voice, so I might have to call you right back, but thank you for your time and understanding of this important matter. And there's no response. Just no response. So I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know why he's not responding. So we have another mental patient in the chat. Is that what this is? Sure seems like it. Someone else who isn't loved enough. Someone else who isn't loved enough. But I mean, not me. Y'all paid that bill. Y'all paid that bill. I'm the middleman. I'm the messenger. I'm the note taker. I'm the form filler. Y'all paid that bill. The public paid that bill. Law enforcement apparently put that thing together, so I'm going to have to go. I haven't gotten to it to actually like look through the whole thing just yet. What a weirdo. You forgot your apostrophe R-E, broski. You might want to like make sure your grammar's right before coming in here and being a like actual freaking psychopath. Right, like you have to like subscribe for 5 minutes before you can come in here and talk shit. Like you don't have a job or something better to do, bro. Figure out your life. Seriously. Seriously. But yeah, I gave him everything he needed. And I don't know why he's not responding other than the fact that he's probably like, oh shit. Because why else would you not be responding? You've been expecting me for months. I finally have the time to sit down and you don't respond. That's crazy. Always mute it. That is so freaking funny. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to get them to answer. I don't care what they try to say. There will be not another damn dime spent on that footage because it's already been paid for. So they can do the right thing and give us what we paid for and quit the lies Or like, I don't know what else we can possibly do. I know that like the EWU lawsuit is happening. I think Sarah dropped some more documents that came out, I think like yesterday or like maybe the day before. Well, day before would have been Sunday, so I guess it was yesterday. And I still have to catch up on all those documents. I still have not had the time to like sit in there and actually go through and see if they mark every little thing that they've asked for versus everything that we've asked for. I need to do that so that I can see like what their answers are. I just know that ever since that lawsuit started, that Moscow police have been redacting even more, like out of spite. Like those interviews with Lakelynn were just gotten by Christy like a handful of weeks ago. And they're blurring out Bethany and Dylan's names in Big O 2026. That's crazy. Like that's actually crazy. So I don't know. I have no idea. Very possible. But I'm definitely going to send a follow-up email. And then I'm just going to call him. Like eventually he'll have to get on the phone. Eventually. It's ridiculous. I feel like, yeah, I feel like we've been getting more information from them, but they've been still like really heavily redacting things. And it's also taking them like a long time because now instead of just the city attorney and then like the families get sent the stuff the same time that we do, now we wait for the families' attorneys to approve what the city already approved. And then we're allowed to get information, which is crazy. Like we still haven't gotten that interview, guys. How long has it been? How long has it been since I sent in the freaking payment for the sheriff? March 28th. Remember the sheriff's interview of the guy that was walking the scene in his uncle's ATF gear, pretending to be a cop and like walking around literally in the crime scene? Mid-March, we paid for that and still haven't gotten it. Like what could be in there that the families want suppressed so bad when it's not even like the ATF guy himself? It's a sheriff that saw the guy and they're just like getting the information from him about the person that was there. I'm going to have to follow up with her again. Yeah. And for what? Like for what? Yeah, I requested it on March the 8th. I said ISP report number 168 is referencing another interview. Oh, no, that's not it. Hold on. Right here. ISP report number 173, written by Michael Van Leuven on 11/22/22, describes someone reporting that a man put on his uncle's ATF gear and walked the scene at 1122 King Road, seeing the blood evidence and speaking to a recruit. I would assume this recruit, even though he didn't make it onto the force, had body cam on as he was at the scene. I would like to request that as well. This is not in the report. The interview was recorded and transferred to MPD per the report itself. I am unable to copy and paste the report verbiage into this request due to how ISP displays the reports, but will attach in your response email. Because usually, especially with like the MPD ones, I go in and I copy and paste exactly what's being said so they can't try to say that I'm not being specific enough. And I couldn't do it with that one. And that was asked for on March 8th. And then I paid for it on March 27th when I got the cost letter. Yeah. So I don't know what's taking so long. I'd like that one. That's what, you would think so, right? But let me tell you what she said in case you missed it. They never interviewed the guy. They never interviewed the guy. This is just the only interview is with a sheriff who was there and witnessed the entire thing. They never interviewed the man in the outfit who was impersonating. And I literally said that to her. I said, so this man put on gear and walked around an active crime scene impersonating a law enforcement agent, and y'all didn't interview him? No, there's nothing in the system that says we ever talked to him. Okay. Just like they never talked to Kohberger's parents. Just like the only time they ever actually talked to Kohberger was in Pennsylvania. Like they don't have access or like any sort of administrative hold on literally anything. Yeah. Yeah, what the actual F is right. What the actual F is right. Yes, I saw that. I just addressed that a few minutes ago. I pulled this up and said that I went to go see it and it was a law enforcement written timeline. So I don't know, but we need like the actual phone records to prove anything for that situation. So I don't know. I guess I can look at the book and see what it says because she doesn't have any additional information other than what we have from this horribly written book. And I did notice there was a piece that was out of line. It's not Pete that got sent a message either. It's Hunter. $21.25. The Explorer leaves Sigma Chi. $21.27. Explorer arrives at 11:22. And then it drops down to 12:39, where there's that new chat that's added, that Ethan gets added to, that Xana doesn't get added to, that one right there. And then at 21:26, it says Hunter's the one who gets the message from Ethan. Not Pete. So, I don't know. Drinking with Xana and Bethany, come hang with, sent to Hunter via Snapchat 21:26. So at 21:27, it shows that he gets there, and at 21:31, just like 4 minutes later, Dylan is calling Xana. And then 8 minutes later is where there's a group thing made. And then it backtracks to 21:26. Yeah, I don't know why they have so much shit out of order in here. And again, he's claiming that it was written from law enforcement and given to the prosecutor's office. But it also says it's being transcribed into this book, and as inaccurate as everything else is actually, I would love to get like this itself. I wonder if I could FOIA this. Could I FOIA this timeline? It was apparently created in November of 2023. I wonder if I could FOIA this and see if it's out of line in its original form, or if Home Dude just is out of line. There's nothing else with Ethan until 24:21. So at 21:26, he sends the message to Hunter Johnson. And then there's nothing else noted in here in a way of correspondence to and from Ethan's phone until Ethan gets a text from Hunter asking if he was still at Sig Chi. And he responds to him within 3 minutes and says, "Yep." Was that like it though? Because Hunter made it sound as if he was like hella trying to get him to come out, when it was really just like one message and then like no follow-up. Yeah. And all he says is, yup. Not like, yeah, you coming or like anything like that. Just, yup. Then Pete shows up at 20 after midnight getting a message from Xana. So I don't know why Lana would be saying that it's a message to Pete unless it's just being interpreted wrong, but that's not what it says. Ethan sends Hunter Johnston a snap message, drinking with Xana and Bethany, come hang out. But that literally could also just be like, they're together. He just got there, probably texting him shit. Do we even know? Let me know in the chat if you guys remember. Did we read the report from the freshman? Did we read the report from the freshman who like walked them over? Okay. Okay. But yeah, it's Hunter. And yeah, it is backwards. But that's also not the first, second, third, or fourth time that it's like all over the place. I also like, I don't know why, like considering that this was written by law enforcement, right? I don't understand why there's information from interviews in here. Does that make sense? I don't know why there's information from interviews in here, considering that witness statements and stuff are like, you know, you can't concrete that shit down. So like when they're giving information about like what time they got back to the formal and like all these things, it's Mortensen interview. Information about Bethany waking up and Ethan being the only one in the house because everybody else was out getting Taco Bell. It's from like interview. Obviously, like not very important. So why wouldn't they just keep it to lift receipts, phone logs, camera footage, phone activity, motion activity? Why didn't they just keep it to the electronic data that can be proven? Why do they have pieces from the interview also in their timeline, knowing that it's eyewitness accounts in memory? So then I guess here's my next question, because I don't really quite understand what the difference is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand the difference. So again, law enforcement put this timeline together. Okay. And they're very specific, again, in way that things are coming in, where it's coming from. Explorer logs, interview, cell phone records, blah, 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 whatever. So what's work product difference? Like, what's the difference between the logs that you got from collecting evidence versus what you're considering work product that you're not labeling? Because like the messages, Erica sends Ethan a message saying you're getting cheated on is labeled as work product. But Xana texts Ethan saying she's taking a nap till 8 is from Ethan's phone. You see what I mean? And I think we sort of like went through like what like the actual definition was for like work product and stuff like that. But why isn't the message from Erica coming from Ethan's phone timeline? So what's the difference between these two? Really, they don't want you to know how, right? I just don't know, like, why wouldn't it just say that it came from his phone? Like, wouldn't you have seen that in his phone stuff? I'm actually curious as to if there's anything else labeled that besides those freaking messages, because I don't think I checked. I also find it interesting that the law enforcement timeline in November of 2023 is including Showalter and Connor Chestnut. I think law enforcement needs to explain that. For real. They need to explain that. This is months and months and months and months and months after they've arrested Kohberger. So why do they have anything in here for them if we're not supposed to believe that they had something to do with something? That's crazy. Okay, so the next one that's also labeled work product also is about notifications, which I don't know why this wouldn't have been on Ethan's phone. Ethan receives notification, Cougar Den, Dylan, Maddie, and Bethany enter new chats. Bethany adds Ethan to the group. Wouldn't that be on his phone timeline? See what I mean? So how is that work product and not coming from his phone report? Is it only messages to Ethan that are like that? It's only Ethan's information that has work product as a label. The next one is Cooper Atkinson attempts to call Ethan 5 times on FaceTime. And then the next one is Ethan receives notification that Sean Dremen sent a chat work product. Like I don't like it. It's weird. Ethan receives notification that Maisie, little sis, said, sorry, I fell asleep. Work product. But they have Ethan's records. See right here? They have Ethan's phone records. But why? I mean, that's my point. Why? They have Ethan's phone records listed in here as a source, and it's only things from Ethan. That's it. That's the end of the line. End of the line. It's only things from Ethan that have the name work product next to it. I don't know. I find that strange. Well, I don't. But this isn't anything from the defense. This is apparently a timeline created by law enforcement. So that wouldn't work either. And that also wouldn't work for the rest of it because the other portions of work product for Ethan, let me highlight them. The other portions of work product for Ethan, hold on. I'll end up clipping this because this is like a little separate side thing. Okay, so we have Erica sends Ethan a message about being cheated on. And see, this is my point. Right underneath it, Ethan's phone timeline. So how come this message didn't come from Ethan's phone timeline? Why didn't the calls from Cooper Atkinson not come from Ethan's phone timeline? Why didn't the group messages that were created and Ethan was added to not come from his phone timeline? Because see, they have access to Ethan's snap messages. All of Dylan's snap messages say contents of messages unknown, but they have access to Ethan's to know exactly who it was. They didn't get this information from Hunter's phone. They got this information from Ethan's phone. So how come the group messages are not from his phone? That's just weird to me. And see the text message to Ethan. I mean, the text message back to Hunter. Yup. Is from his phone timeline. So the message, yeah, like they have his Snap stuff, but they don't have this other stuff. And then here's the other one right here. See, like if it was just for like one person, like if it was just for the Erica messages, then maybe we could figure out a common denominator there. But it's Erica messages. It's a group text message. And then it's Cooper Atkinson attempting to call him on FaceTime, which isn't that like the iPhone face call thing, right? Isn't that like only for iPhone is FaceTime, right? Like that's the word for it. I just call it video calling. Yeah, I don't know why this is just odd to me. I'm going to FOIA this information today. I just want to get the rest of these highlighted. Okay, here's the other one. Yeah, see, even him getting a message from Sean Dremen is considered work product. The one at 10:52 in the morning. So why wouldn't him getting a missed call, because he's already dead? Why wouldn't him getting a missed call a missed message notification at 10:52 show up in his phone records? But the question, but like I don't understand why. Like I feel like it's information that should have been on his phone, or like were these things that were deleted maybe? Right, but this wouldn't be prepared by an attorney. At least not that I'm understanding. It says I'm gonna have to talk to somebody over there to find out like what they consider the difference and why it would be coming that way. It says November 2023, investigators with the Moscow Police Department and the Idaho State Police produced a formal timeline for the Laetah County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. This is all. That's what I'm asking. That, like, it was it not there because it wasn't there when they downloaded his phone info? Yeah, it's not. That's the thing. It's ISP in Moscow. Here, I'll highlight it so it's easier to see. And again, months. Almost a year. Kohberger was arrested the last day of freaking December. And in big old November 2023, Moscow Police Department and the Idaho State Police put together this timeline. So it's not attorney information. It wasn't received. Right, and I understand that too, but the investigators also grabbed the information from the timelines that were used everywhere else. That's what I'm not understanding. So is it like maybe a warrant? Like, is it maybe because they downloaded his phone and that information wasn't there on the phone download, but then whenever they did a warrant for his phone information, that stuff showed up? That's like the only difference my brain can really think of, considering that it's coming from MPD and ISP. But I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the 1.1 evidence receipt submission thing. And I'm going to send both of them the exact same FOIA, verbiaged and everything, because it says that like they basically got together and worked on this together. I need more clarification. I need some clarification. I feel like it should all come from the phone report, and if it's not, then why is it not? You know what I mean? The info was gotten prior to the warrant. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure it out. Plus, I know like every freaking state is so different. Like, we are not the United States of a damn thing. Let's be so for real. There's nothing across the board when it comes to punishments, when it comes to regulations, when it comes to stipulations, laws, formalities, nothing. Not even from county to county. It's so dumb. And it's like this for everything important, like your medical shit, all this stupid, all this freaking convoluted. It's so dumb. So freaking dumb. So dumb. Oh, thank you for joining, Diane. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know. I'm going to FOIA it like right now that I have this open. I'm going to open ISPs and Moscow's at the same time. And when I'm done sending it in, I'll put a thing on the community tab to let you guys know that I've sent it in. But I'm just curious. I want the timeline itself. I want the timeline itself. I'll see if they'll give it to us so we can compare it. But we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. So I don't know. Yeah, but all the phone stuff is electronically stored, isn't it? Technically. See why I don't make no damn sense? We'll figure it out eventually. Eventually. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Don't forget that tonight, as long as nothing else happens, we're going to be doing the next chapter of the book review. I believe the live is set for 7:45. I have decided to go in and switch around us going over Cy Ray's book and the next chapter review, because I have tonight and then the next chapter review being Thursday, and then the Cy Ray book right in the middle. And my brain is just not going to really let me do that. I thought it would be okay, but it's really not, because chapter 5 is the last chapter in part 1. And doing another book thing in between has been bugging the shit out of my brain for 3 days. And I've been trying to just let it go, because I really want to talk about the damn Cy Ray book, but I'm going to have to flip them. I'm going to have to flip them around. I don't have a freaking choice. My brain is just not going to digest what needs to be digested, because I'm going to be mentally splitting them. Does that make sense? My crazy ass brain. So yeah, I'm going to flip those around today and get them out there the right way. And then, yeah, we're going to do all of that. I haven't heard if they have another date actually set yet for any of the Turvey interviews that were supposed to happen. So I guess we're just keeping an ear out for those. But regardless of when it happens, if I have something already scheduled, I will push it back and we'll do an instant reaction review after that interview is done. I just hope it's actually dental stuff like he apparently is saying, because the timing is just wild to me. The timing is just wild to me. Next week, we're probably going to end up doing the first part on Tuesday and then the second one on Thursday, the same way that we're doing Lakelynn's. Because over the weekend, I want to try to get some of the EWU stuff caught up on. Also, I might actually have to do 2 parts for the Cy Ray book. I don't know how many of the 40 pages actually has a bunch of the information on it. I've only skimmed through the first few. I don't know. I haven't been able to actually take the time to dig in there, especially since, again, I can't highlight on the damn thing. I'm having to take a screenshot and then highlight the pieces that I do want to talk about and then save it. And I think I'm going to have to just make my own, maybe landscaped oriented PDF version of the notes that I have for the things that I'm highlighting. I think that's probably the best way to do it, since you can't actually touch the preview itself. So I think that's what we're going to do. No, they're technically new. I haven't listened to a damn thing. I've been letting them do the thing that I do in order to get them ready and have not downloaded them to get them ready yet. But they are newer. The only one that we had heard up until this point is a phone call one with Jack Showalter. But these are, I think one of them is audio and then the other one is actually a video, and there's multiple people sitting in the room, but of course their faces are like blurred out. But Christy has both of them, and I think Connor has the second one. I don't know if he has the first one, but I'm pretty sure he's got one of them over there too. Okay, he does have one of them. Christy has both of them. But yeah, for sure Tuesday and Thursday is the days that I have planned because there's two, just so that it like makes sense to my brain. And we have time in between to do all the catch up stuff for that too. But yeah. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I will see you guys later on tonight. Thank you again for those being in here with me and all of the anniversaries. I love seeing that kind of stuff. That stuff's so cool. And thank you for the super stickers and the super chats and the new members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, thank you, Teresa. Thank you for being here for so long. I appreciate that. You guys have a great rest of your Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo. You better freaking take advantage. I better get back in here later, and y'all better have some delicious tacos in your stomachs. Or sitting in front of you so that you can eat while you listen. Because how can you not have Mexican food, have tacos on Cinco de Mayo freaking Taco Tuesday? My fatness is all out there today. I don't give a damn. I'm about to go ham on some freaking tacos. Best bet. So y'all better do it too. I will see y'all in a little bit. Y'all have a super, super great rest of your day. Oh my God, where did my thinking go? Okay, there it is. I'll be back in a little while, guys. See y'all. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives.